Lovely viewers, you're welcome to another wonderful edition of the program Tourism Focus. My name is King Otto. My guest for today is Director in charge of Diaspora Affairs, Honorable Akwesi Awua Abebio. Director, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Now, looking at 2019, what are some of the practical programs lined up from your office?
Yes, thank you for again that opportunity to explain some of the things that we do. I think first and foremost, this year, as you know, as proclaimed by the president when he was in Washington, and even before that, as was launched in Ghana here in August. That launch was incidentally done by myself, and that was for the launching of the Year of Return. And I happen to be the chairperson of the Year of Return Steering Committee. So the Year of Return is a whole year of dedication towards this African American commemoration of the black community and how they can come back to their motherland, and the celebration of the resistance, resilience of the black community despite all the problems that they had gone through all those years, how they have been able to still stand up and be counted and be part of the human race as it is. And in this regard, we have a whole series of programs that are lined up for the year. These programs have already begun. So of keen interest to us, which is one of the key pillars of all the programs, is the homecoming, which is slated for July, between the 3rd of July and the 6th of July this year.
That means it has been over 400 years since our brothers and sisters arrived in the States.
To Jamestown journey has been 400 years, which is what this whole Year of Return is all about. This homecoming event actually took place in 2001. And that was when, again, the MPP government was in power at that time and felt the need to mobilize people from the diaspora to come back home and brainstorm on how to, take the country forward in respect of mobilization of some resources, capital, expertise, etc., which was successfully done. And then subsequently, other variations of diaspora had been undertaken, but somewhere 2 years ago, 2017, again when the party came to power through his leadership, the leadership of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, again another diaspora conference summit was organized, and again it was a very successful thing, and it brought home about more or less than 2,000 people. This year's conference, we are not just bringing home the diaspora community. We also want to draw attention to the fact that the diaspora community needs to be lauded, needs to be celebrated. We've talked about it on several occasions, how they contribute through remittances and through other means as well. But it's we should be shouting again and again that the remittances is about 3.8. So yeah, it calls for celebration. And it's not only that, it's when you go back in history, what this country is virtually dependent on, which is our backbone for everything, is the cocoa. And where did the cocoa come from? It came from one of us, a Ghanaian, going out of Ghana, living in Fernando Po, and coming back with that seed, which has become, the mainstay of this country, the cocoa industry. So on a regular basis, people from the diaspora are coming back with several initiatives, several expertise, several, investment, capital, etc., which is, holding this country together. And we need to celebrate that. We need to recognize that. And that is what this summit is also going to do. Highlight the essential role that the diaspora play and how that needs to be cultivated, that needs to be nurtured, that needs to be, promoted and encouraged in every sense of the word. And above all, how we need to make sure that for those who are the second generation of Ghanaians, of our diaspora community who hardly know about us, how we can reach out to those people and give them the opportunity to relate to this country. I think it's fair to say that there is a generation that is growing that will be replaced by this youth And that youth is not so much into that idea of remittances, but they are full of ideas, and that is what we are encouraging them to bring home. Those are people who are coming to really take the bull by the horns and really transform things here, and that's what we want to encourage. I think of the recent injection of this diaspora community, one can always mention things like the Ashesi University and Focus Hospital and so many others. All these people coming in after having lived in the diaspora, coming in with the ideas, the expertise, and their contribution, their network of friends that can support them in whatever they have come here to do. And that is what we are trying to encourage. Irrespective of where our people live, we can give them the opportunity to contribute. And above all, I know a lot of people have been talking about this, and that has been an agitation of a section of the diaspora community, how they can even partake in governance. The ROPA has been passed. It is still lying there. The electoral commissioner is, not that well resourced. How do we look at, encouraging them to look for the necessary resource to enable them to extend that voting rights that the people in the diaspora have, to enable them to also, partake in governance.
Viewers will be going for a very short commercial break. If we come back, my guests, Honorable Abebio, will be telling us more about programs lined up.
Ago Ghana! Afro TV presents Living Legend.
Konimo, this is an order. It is not a request.
Yeah. I can speak so many languages, so my patients feel comfortable with me.
Ghana Bar is a combination of many.
My funeral delegates of the Akan people. It was my first book.
I went to London to help to turn our Gold Coast office, then it was, into a high commission.
I got this sucker, not from Ghana, but from Philadelphia.
People call me all sorts of names as a result of my sporting life.
I was a little adventurous.
So on Monday when I saw the papers, I decided to quit football for good.
Living Legends was brought to you by Afro TV.
Well, viewers, you're still watching the program Tourism Focus, and we are still talking about the diaspora affairs and its activities program slated for the year 2019. And my guest is the director in charge, Abebio. Beside the Homecoming Summit, what other program that has been slated as part of the diaspora program for the year?
I think there are a series of engagement strategies that we are also going to be embarking on. First and foremost, we have been able to get access to some funding that is going to enable us to directly go to the diaspora communities in their various host countries and engage them on at that level to pick their brains, to let them know how they are also part of government and that they should be coming forth with some ideas and matching them to some opportunities that are available. We are going to be encouraging all these various associations, various churches, various groupings, various professional bodies that exist in the diaspora to register, not just with the embassies, but to also register with the Diaspora Affairs Office, so that we can start, looking at the management of all these organizations and how to tap into them as a resource, and also to use them as conduits for, disseminating certain government policies and making them aware of what can be made available to them here. I think on a bilateral level too, we are encouraging some of those host countries to really start, making specific arrangements that will benefit the people in their community, the people in their host countries. I think it's also important to say that in the case of UK, the responses that we are getting from them, the appointment of some specific person as being in charge of diaspora, even at the High Commission in Ghana here, tells you that these are countries that are trying to be responsive to our initiatives, our endeavors, our things that we are doing to enable them to also tap in to see how they can help. And we appreciate that. Because of that, then they begin to realize that, okay, we have got nationals in their country who are providing them with good services, who would also want something in return, and that they should be looking to facilitate it when working with us and working with other government organizations. This is all possible.
So in the sense that most of the embassies locally in Ghana here are now beginning to create offices that really liaise with the diaspora office in the presidency.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what's happening.
Chief, before we go, what will be your final word?
My final word would be to say a big thank you for your media house, for Afro TV, for giving us this opportunity to highlight some of the things that we are doing to share our vision with the diaspora community, and above all with the country, to know that there is that community that is part of this country that we need to encourage. We need to, appreciate what they are doing. That when we have this homecoming event in July, it is not just for the people who are coming from the diaspora, it is also an opportunity for the country to meet the diaspora community, to do dialogue, to see what networks, leads they can provide them, to enable them to also, tap into that expertise that is out there, the capital that is out there, and everything that is possible. I also want to take this opportunity to also extend my gratitude to the other members of the steering committee of the Year of Return, and to my staff here at the Diaspora Affairs Office of the President for the support that everyone has been giving us, to enable us to do what we do. I think we are quite determined that we would serve the diaspora community to the best of our ability and knowledge, and we encourage those who come from the diaspora to approach us to see how we can facilitate the things that they have come to do whenever they come home. So that's my final word.
Well, on the final word of my guest, Mr. Abebio, would like to thank you very much for passing through this program. We are so honored and so happy for your warm reception. To our viewers out there and Ghanaians and the general viewing public, we are saying that let's take advantage of this unique program opportunity created through the office of the Diaspora Affairs headed by Mr. Abebio, so that we can interact when our brothers and sisters living in the diaspora comes. Let's take the opportunity to also tap into their expertise that they are bringing back home. Keep watching the program Tourism Focus. Until same time next week, we'll bring you another edition that will be more detailed to really explain the programs lined up by the Office of the Diaspora Affairs. Keep watching the program Tourism Focus.
Afro TV, redefining Africa's